everyone, and welcome to the Survivor After Show here on the stream.tv. Joining on the conversation right now, we are live here at the stream. We want to hear all your thoughts. Everyone is welcome to join. I'm your host, Justin Walter, joined by the three-time Survivor player, the one and only Jerri Manthey.
Hey, Justin. We're back, you guys.
We are so excited to be best and this season is going to be epic.
No, it is epic.
It already is epic. This
Totally.
first episode was one of the best first episodes I've seen in Survivor history.
Oh, for sure. Because we know everybody, and I know personally there's a lot of people on this season that I was rooting for to get on there, so I'm even more happy to see them.
So good.
Kimmy and Jeff. I'm so happy to see their faces on the show.
So good, and it's awesome to get your perspective having Kimmy and Jeff on this season. Survivor Second Chance. Everyone knows from last season, we voted in 20 players, 10 females, 10 males. They're all in there. We love them getting their second chance. And let's start talking about it. So already, the entire season, I think, is going to have the through line and theme of old school versus new school. So right away, we see people like Kelly Wigglesworth. We see people like Jeff Varner, Terry Dietz, Andrew Savage talking about the old school way of playing the game versus people like Spencer Shireen, Kelly Wentworth, new school.
Exactly. And, you know, I had a good talk with Jeff before he left. I literally told him, I said, look, the shelter doesn't matter, the food doesn't matter, the weather doesn't matter. None of it matters. Mm-hmm. You got to start playing that game the second you get on the beach because that's what people do now. And I think he really listened because I didn't see him building the shelter, which I hope doesn't end up biting him in the ass.
He definitely wasn't in the shelter on that tribe. It was the shelter versus the beach people.
Yes, yes.
And he was kind of in the middle of that. You know, it was funny watching when Shireen was talking her mouth off a mile a minute to Jeff and Spencer.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Good old Shireen is back. We love it. And he was just the entire time, whoa, I got to take advantage of the second chance. I got to play the game right from the start. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm playing catch up. What do I do?
Yeah, and he talked about feeling like a baby in the game again, and then they cut to that little tiny monkey in the tree. I was like, oh, Jeff, just keep going, man. I'm so happy for him.
And one thing, like even with Jeff and everybody, Sierra, all these players, this is an incredible cast.
Yeah, everybody's great. I mean, everyone. Woo. We're still on the fence about Woo, but he did get the bag of rice in the first challenge. So.
Yeah, so right away we start off with classic Survivor, how they had to go from the boat, get supplies, and swim to the rice. I was rooting for Kelly Wigglesworth to get that rice. I'm loving her already this season. She might not have the gameplay.
Yeah, she's a go-getter. I mean, she knows how to get to the finals.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I know we're all looking for Kelly to go far.
I
just wish they would have thought more about sending her out so early because she was winded.
Yeah.
So it didn't take much for Wu to jump in and beat her to the boat.
Yeah, river guide.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still confused about the challenge rules. I thought for sure that they said the entire team had to be to the boat first, not one person.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's Survivor. We can never figure some things out.
Well, yeah, in the new school versus old school regime, we have Jeremy, who you love.
I love Jeremy. He's a strategic player.
Is strategic, already going around, making alliances with Keith, Tasha, Savage, Joe, rounding his troops. He did this in Survivor San Juan del Sur. It backfired later on, but he is already forming a strong alliance with people.
He's coming right out of the gate.
Right
really
out of the
strong,
gate. What I really feel like this season, I'm going to put this prediction out there, is this season is not going to be about alliances that go from the beginning to the end. It's going to be about adapting alliances 3 days at a time. Every time you're going to tribal council, every couple days you got to adapt those alliances.
That's also something I told Jeff before he left. I said, you have to be malleable. You have to play the game minute by minute, always keeping your eye on the end game. That's very important to keep that perspective.
Yeah. One person that I thought would be a huge threat going into the game because of his work on Rob as a podcast and kind of knowing all these survivors, Steven, he seemed like a, no pun intended, a fish out of water.
Fish back out of water.
Fish back out of water,
Yeah.
kind of talking about his first time on Tocantins. And it does look like he's an outsider. What do you make of that?
He's a total outsider, and I think we were both a little bit shocked watching because he's got a podcast that he's very strategic. Mm-hmm. I mean, he discusses the strategy to such a fine point that I'm really surprised that he's faltering in his gameplay. And he went looking for the idol, and everyone saw him do it on the first day. It's like putting the hugest target on your back. Steven, what are you thinking?
Well, we'll see if he can last, and he's already kind of making the alpha male alliances, are kind of leading that tribe. We have Savage, we have Joe, we have Jeremy, we have kind of Keith is going to tag along a little bit, but it is going to be interesting. Twitter is blowing up over Joe. Are we surprised?
Oh my God, Joe. That's all I've been following all the tweets, Survivor Second Chance hashtags, and it's just like, it's crazy. Joe's everywhere.
Joe is everywhere. I got a text from one of my friends, Stacy. She said, I love his hair. He's perfect. Just like Andrew Savage said to Joe that his daughters are obsessed in love with him. They're all kind of kissing the newbies' butts.
He has really good hair. Don't you think?
It's kind of like yours, Jerri. So there were some big moments already from the show that stood out right away. We have Abby Maria fighting for her chance at redemption, to not be a Brazilian firecracker, to check in with her emotions. She lost her bracelet and kind of went a little crazy, accusing PG.
A little crazy.
All I gotta say is, Abby, nuts. I love you. Be a villain. I love it. Villains for life. But really, who cares about your bracelet? Go to Forever 21 and get a new one when you win $1 million. Like, what are you thinking?
No, you didn't.
What are you thinking?
21. I don't know. What I want to know is why PG, that is how you spell her name.
PG.
Is that okay?
Say it, yeah.
Why she didn't say something about finding her bracelet when Abby was running around the beach freaking out about it.
Yeah.
Like, why did it take so long for her? Well, she
I
didn't
don't even know if she knew it was in her bag.
She didn't even say anything until Abby actually found it. It was so crazy. I would love to hear the story about how that happened.
It's almost like beef jerky from season 2, Jerri.
Nothing like beef jerky.
Well, what about Joe? You know, everyone loves Joe. Joe making fire right away. Joe, again. He made fire. Yay, Joe. One thing that was interesting with Kelly Wigglesworth that stood out to me was her saying, like, I'm going to be a workhorse. I'm going to build a shelter. I'm going to do all this stuff. And hopefully people will remember that when they're coming to voting. Yeah, that's so, I love old school, but that is so old school.
That's really old school. Nobody cares about the shelter. In fact, I was on 2 seasons where no one cared about the shelter to such a degree that we suffered till the end of the game in our crappy shelter.
Yeah.
I mean, people just do not care about that stuff anymore. They're ready to play the game. Period. Which you got to get on that new school mentality if you want to stick with it or get dragged along, which could be a strategy. Kelly Wentworth, we have to talk about her. When she was on her first season, I remember we could go back to tape. I said she will get a second chance to play because her dad screwed her over. Yeah. She is my pick. She is my dark horse. She is who I think is going to go in this game. Definite Final Four. I mean, her finding the clue, and I love that she didn't find the actual idol. I'm actually happy she didn't find the idol too, because it's kind of getting to the point where every time someone goes to look for it, they find it, and it's really disappointing. It's like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I'm glad that they actually put a clue in what was a twist this season, which I loved. Such good television. The clue said the idol is actually at the Hidden Immunity Challenge. You have to grab it under the sticks that you're going to put your raft on after you light it.
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody.
It was crazy.
It was awesome.
I knew she was going to do it. I had no doubt she was going to do it, especially in the heat of the moment of the challenge. It was the perfect time to grab it.
The look on her face, standing behind everyone, watching the other tribe when they were intensely watching Joe, then watching her tribe to grab it in the heat of the moment when no one was looking. Kelly Wentworth, flawless.
Right.
Flawless.
I mean, no one would ever think that someone was going to do that. It's never been done before. It's awesome. I hope we see more of that this season with the hidden immunity idols and not so much like, let me go look for it. Oops, I found it.
I know.
It's such a letdown.
Alrighty, I'm applauding you, Kelly Wentworth. One thing that we're so excited for this season is we have Andy Dehnart from Reality Blurred, which is one of the best reality TV news and gossip websites. I've been reading Reality Blurred for 15 years, literally. He founded it in 2000.
Wow.
His articles on Survivor are amazing. So Andy is going to be Skyping in with us on a weekly basis, joining us in on the conversation. So Andy, how are you?
Hey, good. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being a part of our show this season.
How exciting. You've been around as long as I have been.
You know Jerri, right? You've written about her.
Very well, of course. I've watched the show since the beginning.
Yeah, so Andy, Reality Blurred, I love your articles. You do such a great job. What is your moment of the week this week in tonight's premiere episode?
Well, I'd have to say that I was leaning toward probably the obvious choice of Kelly going for the idol, which was just a great moment in terms of the way it was shot and everything that happened. But I'm going to have to go for something that maybe wasn't as obvious, which was a second chance that no one saw coming, which is Jeff Probst's talk show being resurrected from the dead. every single time Jeff was on screen, he's like trying to make everyone cry. Like, Kelly, you lost the show. Do you remember that? Do you cry?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and his tribal council questions are just like insanely leading now, and he's just like going overboard. So I think he's just really trying to get his talk show back, and you have to suffer through that audition.
Why doesn't he just produce it and do it himself? I don't understand.
You got to get ratings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
there's that.
Jeff, obviously executive producer of the show from season 1 15 years ago, when Kelly Wigglesworth was just a contestant. He was just a host, but now he's running that show. He's the top man in charge. Andy, with all the twists, what do you make and think of the twists that we saw so far just in tonight's episode?
So I really like them. I like the idea of not having the idol be just like right there with a neon sign pointing at it, but instead being sort of more public yet private at the same time.
Yeah.
I also really liked the we're going to go right to tribal council thing, although as I'm thinking about it, I think it might have actually hurt the episode a little bit because we didn't get that tension going into tribal that we would have had otherwise. So I like the idea that they have to scramble and just communicate with eye contact, but it'll be interesting to see if that happens more than once or if that causes them to do earlier strategizing in the future.
And it seemed like most of them already had their mind made up. We had the kind of the old school regime. We had Wu, we had Terry, we had Kelly Wigglesworth, and we had Vetus trying to get Abby Maria out, and then Jeff Varner and PG clearly went with the new school regime. Do you think it was smart of Jeff and PG to go with the new school versus old school?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as much as I would like to see Abby leave because she can be a little grating, although, it's good TV, but they're keeping her around because she's someone everyone can win against, and they're going after people who they sort of think of as threats and or annoying threats, as Vetus is maybe both of those things at the same time. So might as well get both out right away.
Yeah, he was outright creepy tonight. It was just creepy.
What was with Vetus being so creepy? And I don't understand when his strategy went from being cool and chill with everyone to trying to put the moves on everybody. What is he doing?
Yeah.
I have no idea, and I don't know if he knows either. I guess he'll have to figure it out in Ponderosa, wherever he gets sent.
To be the first one out, that sucks.
It's
that
horrible.
Sucks.
It's really bad.
One thing we saw tonight was the 21st. There are 20 players, but I think there's 21 on the show. This season we have yoga as a player on this show. Each tribe independently is having their yoga alliances, I'm going to say. So we have Joe teaching yoga and Creepy Vetus teaching yoga. Who would you rather have as your yoga teacher?
Well, clearly, according to the internet, it's yoga all the way.
There's absolutely no question there. It's do you want to be annoyed or do you want to stare at someone who's really hot? That's your choice.
So Andy, you obviously write a lot of articles. Check out Andy's recap on tonight's episode on Reality Blurred. What do you see? You don't know spoilers, which is good. We don't want spoilers this season. What are you looking forward to the most coming up in future episodes? What do you think is going to be the big mark on this season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that it's going to be just watching them play they're all threats because everyone is known as a player. And I kind of like those seasons where everyone's on an even playing field instead of having this kind of mismatch thing that sometimes happens with returnee seasons. So I think that that's going to be something I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Yeah.
And in terms of being spoiled, I haven't seen anything, but a season with returnees, people don't stop talking and everyone knows exactly what happened. And I'm sure, there's already it's just well known. So it's interesting for me to watch during the season as people make predictions about something they already know about. So
well, we are not gonna, we're not gonna do spoilers. We're not gonna do any of that. So
Justin
Andy,
and I love watching it with everyone else.
We are huge fans, just like you. Thank you so much, Andy. We'll get your thoughts next week. We will check out Reality Blurred and encourage everyone else to check it out. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thanks. Good night, guys. See you later.
Yeah. So, one thing, we don't want spoilers. We're not going to do spoilers.
No, we don't want to know. Jeff, don't call me. Unless you want to tell me that, you're eating peanut butter again. But I don't want to hear anything
I'll give you this spoiler.
Anything.
I guarantee they are going to try and tempt him with peanut butter this season.
I certainly hope so. But I mean, it's going to be anticlimactic. He's going to say no.
Well, we will be right back. We will be right back with some questions from our fans.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, this is for you.
I love it. That was freaking love it.
Oh my God.
I didn't see any of this coming. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was like,
How did you get here? No.
Like, kill him. Kill him. Definitely kill him. We're cool.
shade. Shade left and right, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, let's put your 2 cents in.
Rubbed me the wrong way and the right way.
But you were like, well, we want to know what's going to happen.
That was cute.
We just want to say we love you all. Thank you so much for your support. You are all seriously the best in the world. and we
Another
appreciate
beautiful
you so
summer
much.
at the stream.tv, y'all.
Here we go, guys.
Thank you for being here. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Back here at the stream.tv with the Survivor After Show, Survivor Second Chance Season 31 in Cambodia. So we are going to take some fan questions. We have one from Morgan Michaels who tweeted the question, who are your picks to win Survivor Second Chance? Jerri, give me your top 2 picks to win this season.
Well, I mean, I love Jeremy. I love where he's at. I love how he's playing. And I'm just going to say, I really hope Jeff goes far. I really want to see Jeff Varner do well.
Okay.
So, otherwise, it's too early for me to make too big of a prediction.
All right, well, you did last season predict from episode 1 Mike was going to win.
I did.
So we'll
Yeah, I
see if
did.
Jeremy and Jeff do it. I'll throw out 2 ladies out there. I'm going to put out Kelly Wentworth. She's my pick. She's been my pick since the cast was picked. I'm also going to throw out Sierra. I really think Sierra's going to have a really good shot.
We didn't see anything
We
from
didn't see
Sierra
much of
tonight
her.
at
Hopefully we'll
all.
see more of her. I wanted to make some big moves this season.
Yeah.
Jerri, there were so many tweets. Read some that
man.
were going on during the show.
So many. This one is from BB17 Squad. Is that an idol in your pants, Vetus, or are you just happy to see us? It's got a very funny picture on it. By SF Celeb Watch, attention, Vetus, if you win the $1 million, please buy yourself some new underwear. Yes, please. Those were just sick. At Colleen84. So with 30 minutes left, we can all agree that Kelly and Varner are the bays of this season. Right? Yeah, I love it. Misha57. Man, I miss Jeff Varner and his confessionals. Oh my gosh, the sound bites are already going
great.
nuts. I love you, Jeff,
Yeah.
so much. And Twilight Sparkle, first episode of the season of Survivor is here. Who likes yoga? Yeah, yoga. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
John Rudo, 54. Most people's husbands don't scream as loud during hockey as mine does during Survivor.
You got a good husband. You got a good husband. You guys send us your tweets live during the show. Use the hashtag SurvivorAS. We got more to talk about the season premiere, Survivor Second Chance, which I love this premiere. I have not been excited for Survivor like this. It felt like I was waiting for Christmas. I had my countdown going down. What a great premiere.
Justin, seriously, he was texting me all day today. He's like, it's like Christmas.
It feels like Christmas.
And it does. I was very excited about this season too because of so many people that I was rooting for
Yeah.
that we actually interviewed here in the studio at the stream.tv who made it onto this season. So I am so excited to see Kimmy's face all over the place and Jeff and Terry Dietz.
So good.
Yeah.
One thing they're going to do this season is give people a second chance to play challenges that they competed in on their first season. We saw in the Immunity Challenge Quest for Fire.
Whoa.
Kelly Wigglesworth got to play again the first challenge that she
Of her
ever
season.
played in Survivor history.
Is that really the theme?
Yes.
Did you find that out?
Well, no, all these challenges are going to be challenges that most of them are going to be repeating for
I
a
had
second
no
time.
idea.
Well, let's be
That's
honest.
so awesome.
Let's be honest. The last 10 seasons of Survivor, everyone's getting second chances at challenges because they keep recycling them.
Right.
But it fits. It fits this season. I'm
totally
excited
fits.
for it. And I read, actually on Reality Blurred, that one of the things they're doing is before going into the season, they had to kind of think who they thought would make it into the season, and then they picked challenges based off that. So they clearly thought Kelly Wigglesworth, it's poetic to have her play
Right.
Quest for Fire. She lost it in Borneo 15 years ago.
Did she do the same thing in Borneo?
She
did.
did.
I
I don't know if actually I can't remember if the poll thing. Let
Justin,
us know.
you can't remember.
I can't right now. But she tonight, Kelly kind of blew it with she had a lead with her tribe. You know, I almost teared up when she was sad after the challenge. Like
Oh,
thinking
really?
that, yes!
Really?
She thought she was gonna maybe go home and she took the whole blame, but they were like, we love you.
She knew she wasn't going home.
And you know what I love
Come
too? I love
on.
that everyone keeps, like, every time they mention Kelly Wigglesworth, it's like, everyone's clapping for her. Like, she's
From
a star.
season 1. I mean, come on, that's an epic season.
Epic.
That will never be able to be done again.
Yeah, and I
Season 1
mean,
was
Kelly,
amazing.
the Kellys right now, the Kelly W's, Kelly Wentworth killed it.
Yeah.
Grabbing that idol. I'm gonna go back and watch her facial expressions, the nerve of whether she to do it or not. And could you have imagined if someone caught her doing that?
Yeah, I knew no one would catch her. They were the suspense was so intriguing in the challenge that she had the perfect opportunity. I had
great.
no doubt, Kelly.
No doubt, Kelly. So again, we talked about it a little bit earlier. They went right to tribal council after the challenge.
That was crazy.
Did you ever do that?
No, and I don't necessarily like that choice, but I think it did create a lot of intrigue within the tribe. But according to Jeff Varner, who again, Jeff, you're making me a little nervous, dude, talking so much at tribal council. You didn't listen to what I said. Jeff is going to try to get you to say whatever he wants you to say. Be careful, Jeff Varner. So, yeah, I mean, seriously, he said that they already knew who was going home.
Well, you know what I think he was saying when he was like, this is my second chance, I'm going to take it and play. I think everyone assumed that he and PG would vote with the old school players.
You think so?
Yeah, I think the old school people were probably banking on Jeff to vote with them because he's old school. And I love that he made a move going with what he thought would be best, going with the new school players. One thing that I'm not shocked about, I like him as a person, but as a player, I'm not a huge fan of Wu. And the fact that Wu was shocked that, people actually knew what was going on when they got to tribal council and it wasn't going to be a mystery. And he was shocked that someone got voted off that he didn't know. Come on, Wu.
Yeah, well, we weren't surprised that Wu was surprised, but Wu was clearly surprised.
I think there's two types of players in Survivor. Players who can play the game and get it and adjust, or people who just will never get the game. And I'm sorry to say, my opinion, I think that Wu will never get the actual strategy game of Survivor.
Well,
he's likable, he's a ninja.
He's a surfer. You can tell whenever he talks. He's got that whole surfer mentality.
So I don't know Wu, but
I like the tribal council. I think a lot of things were said tonight that really set the precedent for future tribal councils. And I'm not so certain that there is an old school versus new school right now, just the way people voted tonight.
Yeah.
I think there's a potential for it, and I think that people like Terry Dietz and Jeff Varner, even though they voted separately this time, may in the future vote together.
I agree. I think that these alliances are going to shift so much. I think on a weekly basis from our view, but every couple of days it's going to shift. Whoever is in your best interest, you're going to go with.
I hope so.
And I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah. No, it really is. I've always said you have to adapt and you have to be malleable.
Yeah.
You can't get set in your ways on Survivor because things change moment to moment.
Well, and one thing that I've been reading a lot of articles that I don't know if you know yet, but they switch up the tribes pretty quickly. Do you know this?
No, I do.
Do you want me to tell you?
No.
This is not a spoiler.
That's a total spoiler.
No,
Justin.
this is
Shame
not.
on you.
If you want to know what I'm talking about, you can look it up or go to CBS.com store and see the buffs. Go try and buy a buff and see what happens when you go try and buy a buff.
What? How does that, buying a buff is what tipped you off? There's 3.
There's not 2 buffs.
Maybe they're going to shift tribes several different times.
They're going to shift them, and I think after next week, episode 3, they're going to switch it up.
Oh,
so we'll
for God's sake.
We will see. But one thing we're doing this season, this is going to be an epic season. We can feel the energy. We're excited. Fans are excited. We want to reach as many Survivor fans as possible this season. We have teamed up this season with a bunch of blogs and reality TV websites that we're so excited to kind of partner up with. And we just want to tell you guys to go check them out, check out their articles, join their Facebook groups. A lot of Survivor fans are buzzing about this season. We want to thank Reality Blurred, Reality TV World, Survivor Fandom, Survivor Whispers, Survivor Wiki, and Reality Rush. Check out all those sites. You can check the link down below to check on and join those groups to talk and connect with other Survivor fans, which we're hoping to do and excited to do this season. So, Jerri, final thoughts for the premiere and looking forward to the rest of the season. What do you got?
I'm just so happy to see Kimmy and Jeff's face. I can't say it enough. I'm so happy that the two of them got a second chance because I know they totally deserve it.
Did you give them any advice of pretending that they were enemies but actually being in an alliance?
I actually told them that they should play up the fact that they had some issues with each other.
Okay.
And then to bond together and play the game together, but not let anybody else know. So we'll see if maybe that comes into play.
All right.
I don't know.
I love it. I love it. Well, I hope it does because I think that would be such a good storyline and so fun to see those
no
two
one
work
would see
together.
it coming.
No one would see it coming. I think the theme, Vetus went home tonight. It was a blindside for Vetus, and probably a bunch of fans would have thought Abby Maria would have gone home because she was annoying everybody. But I think we're going to see a lot of blindsides, a lot of new strategy. 31 seasons later, I'm more excited than ever for Survivor.
Let's see if Abby actually learns something from her first time and seriously grows from it and changes her game.
All right, Abby, it challenges onto you. You'll find out next week. So check out thestream.tv for our episode. Check out all of our partners and definitely subscribe to thestream.tv. Thank you guys for joining us for our first episode of the Survivor After Show. Boom.
Bye. Ow!